be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of His Excellency the Governor, and on strengthening the youth voice on climate change related policy process and access to finance for climate actions. The debate is open now. Honorable youth leaders kindly debate the motion. Any contributions from the members? I now give, actually, for the interest of time, I'm giving this part side 2 people, 1 minute each. This side 2 people, 1 minute each, because we still have speakers from Youth Senate Kenya making the speeches. We still have a friend from Horn of Africa, and still have the Department of Youth. So kindly bear with us. If you get an opportunity to debate, kindly observe time and minutes. Strict, direct to the point, and recommendations, because we need to have concrete recommendations. I start with Victor. Very quickly, Victor. Straight to the point. You need to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm having 2 points in regards to the same agenda. The first one is His Excellency the Governor of Baringo mentioned the 30% contracts to the youth in PWDs that we have deliberately sold our identities to the youth at it is Mr. Speaker, allow me to a little bit be very sincere, because the topic that we are having here, how I wish we could be very candid to ourselves. The youth in question are not receiving the tenders, not because they are not aggressive, not because they are lazy. It is because they have not been given the opportunity to capacitate themselves as far as the youth are the leaders for tomorrow is concerned. Secondly, my previous speaker said something about youth are not given the opportunity. How are these youth going to showcase their talents or maybe their expertise in various activities if at all, one, they are not given the chance? The leaders are the people who are ensuring that they are making them every day. They are rendering the youth poor every day. How are these people going to get the opportunity to also give back to the society whatever they know and the skills they know? Lastly, Mr. Speaker, equipping the youth centers is another thing. Operationalizing the youth center is another thing. And also, engaging the youth is another thing. My proposal to this August House today is how I wish by operationalizing the youth centers, we engage the youth in that operationalization. That one is going to make an impact. Lastly, as I sit down, Mr. Speaker, I'm consuming a lot of time, is about the youth sensitization. It is not actually happening in Baringo, and I don't know if it is going to happen anytime soon, Mr. Speaker. That is my submission.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make my submissions. First of all, greetings from Tiati. We as Tiati, we are very impressed because of what is happening there in terms of youth. We are happy to have the Youth Innovation Center, the Youth Empowerment Center.
Your voice, I understand it's raining.
We are happy to have the Youth Empowerment Center in Tiati. It is really helping our youth, and it is going to help expose them to the outside world. In relation to innovation, I was very impressed about the speech that the county is already having some South Korean people who are interested in empowering our innovations. So in relation to that, I'd like to request that these innovations from our youth, we can be able to protect them and also nurture them as a county, such that, most the youths have innovations, but mostly the capacity is where the problem comes in. So we would like to encourage the county to embrace those innovations.
So
and nurture them.
recommend?
Yes, it's one of the recommendations. And nurture them so that these youth can be able to grow with their innovations. And lastly, is about the water projects. Water is a key sector that could steer our county into realizing and also combating climate change. So I would like to encourage the county to invest in water projects, as the way the governor himself has attested that he is committed to that, so that we'll be able to grow our own selves. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable member, there's something. Just Kurgas, just the guy next to you. So, Edwin. A minute, Edwin, tafadhali.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to give my input towards the motion of the day. That, Mr. Speaker, we should provide solutions to climate change as youth, but not actually talking about a lot of non-issues. For me, my first recommendation for the government of Kenya, if we are serious about climate change, I am talking of the government of Kenya, that we should introduce the climate change as a course, not as a unit for, let's say, masters or that higher level, as an undergraduate, so that people are built right from the scratch to understand how to mitigate the issues of climate change. Because we've seen so many useless courses like community development, which are not assisting. Now you have papers. Yes, there is a big debate in the national that there are some courses which are not assisting you in any way. You studied something like community development, you end up in an empty
Please make your point.
Yes, so that's my point number one. Number two, Mr. Speaker, is to mitigate the issues that are within us. First, we must understand, in line with Copernicus Land Monitoring Services, we must understand as a county the land cover types that we have for us to mitigate the challenges that will come, and also to understand the land use that we have. Those are the resources that we always cry when climate change effects strikes. It's about the land issue, land degradation, displacement. It's about the land. On empowerment issues, there was a bill that was passed in the year 2020 by this assembly. Mr. Speaker, it was sent by the governor, the second governor of Baringo County, in December 2020, that allocation of the World Development Fund was 2 million for the youth, 2 million for the women, and 2 million for the people living with disability. And I would wish that this money be allocated into income generating activity for the youth in line with environmental impacts and in line with building resilience on climate change. Things to do with tree nurseries. We have fruit trees that we can actually embrace, earn a living, and then build resilience on the climate change effects and actually improve our environment. In the end, we shall achieve the food security that we yearn for. Mr. Speaker, as we get serious that way, we must also embrace the innovations that come by through the climate change. Right now, you may want to have some fresh vegetables in Garissa or in Baringo. Some parts of Baringo are totally dry. And we should actually embrace some technologies like the kitchen gardening or the pyramids. Those are plastic material that can be converted into a small kitchen garden so that you have your fresh vegetables and so forth.
Thank you.
And as I conclude, the green energy is inevitable. And when we talk of the biofuels, I heard earlier on that there was an issue of saying let's not embrace the castor plant. But the issue that was raised with that point does not actually, cannot affect us because it was rejected in the United States. Simply because in the US, they are much more developed and there is no bare land in USA.
Thank you.
But in Baringo here, Mr. Speaker, I wish, yes, my minute is over, but I wish to give some good information that will assist us in future. Okay? I hope I did not give stories. So here, our situation is that our lands are bare. There are some microorganisms in the soil that wish there was even a leaf at the top of the soil to cover them from that heat. So let's embrace whatever grows, even if it is castor plant, so be it, because it does not affect our environment. In fact, it is assisting us. The cover crop types that I was talking about. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I know
we shall engage more.
Some more points. You can still do written submissions to the clerk so that your points will be captured. Just your gentleman, I was to give you the mic. Just a minute for you, and then we wrap up. Kindly. Yes. Where? A minute, kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Quickly, I want to point out that apart from Senator Lee and the honorable member who has just spoke, all of the other speakers didn't concentrate much on what we were supposed to do today. So hurriedly, we should do the recommendations that come out of this meeting.
Kindly proceed and give your recommendation.
Okay, I want to adopt all the recommendations as stated by the honorable member who has just sat down. But in addition to that, I want to comment on the issue of the economic activities that bring about the destruction of the environment that result to climate change. And I want to point out that charcoal has become the main source of environmental degradation in our county, in Baringo. And they have to feed their families, and they have to pay school fees for their families. So for us to contain this issue of charcoal burning, we have to look for economic activities that these people are going to be involved in that will make them earn a living without necessarily degrading the environment. And it's in that note that we have to ask now the county government to intervene and sit down and address this problem from the root cause and not addressing the symptoms. Because Because if you want to come and ban like charcoal burning, we say it's illegal to burn charcoal, but we've not given people an alternative. We'll be addressing the symptoms rather than the disease itself.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, secondly, I want to talk about the institutions, and my colleague here said we should concentrate on climate change as a cause by itself. And apart from the way he spoke about other causes and terming them useless, that's the only thing I don't agree. But what I'll advocate also is that we, the society, and our parents, or us when we become parents especially, we should concentrate on these environmental causes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that we can be able to build our capacity to be able to contain these things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to talk about something very important that touches my.
But you can still give written submissions on your important points.
Just a minute, please. Just a second, please. The CEO talked about the innovation centers, and one of the members here stood and said that Mogotio we have an innovation center. We want to point out that in Mogotio we do not have an innovation center.
That point is
or an empowerment center. So if it can be included as part of the other sub-counties that are on progress, we will really appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you have brilliant points, but time is not on our side. Kindly, Janet, none of the majority leader. We agreed that there's no point of orders. Because still, members, I know you still have some points to make, but okay, maybe we can agree on modality and how you'll do, because I'm seeing about 4 hands. So, Edwin Kiprono, you have spoken. Please, I'm not going to give you time. Nope. Not.
I can donate 1 minute of my time, Honorable Speaker, to Honorable Benitez.
What informed the decision for you to give it? Do you know each other by?
Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Since we came back from the break, he has had his hands up, so I'll donate 1 minute of my time.
And the final minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we need to wind up this. We need to wind up.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader. So I will be brief and direct
Thank
to
me.
the
I'm the one who
point.
gave you the opportunity, not the majority. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the biggest monster in the house that we are trying to tackle is the climate change.
Honorable Munyeria, point of order. Order. Continue. Benitez, are you done with the point?
No.
Kind of finish.
Okay. So I think the biggest monster in the house that we are trying to tackle is the climate. But it's unfortunate that majority of our members, they have not, apart from the honorable member from Mochongwe, he has really talked about the climate change, and my friend from the other side. But regarding the governor's speech on climate change, I think I have a lot of notes, but I will just make sure that I use less than 1 minute to explain. So, beginning from the members in the house, I think the biggest monster that we really wish that every member in this house understands is something to do with climate change. Because if you tell someone about climate change, they are just thinking about replanting. And that is very wrong. Because an environmentalist like me, I'm myself an environmentalist, and I could feel so much disappointed if you could not donate to me even a single minute to say something about climate change. We've heard about COP27. At COP27, they were talking about finance on climate. And the climate finance has been a challenge in the entire world. But now, we are here as a youth. We are trying to discuss our issues and maybe raising our issues and look for opportunities that the county government can maybe donate or give to us as a youth in regards to the matters of climate change. So I think we should be informed the policy. I'm even wondering why we have a partnership. I wish the director could hear this. We have 17 sustainable development goals. And number 17 is talking about partnerships. Now we are here, we are talking, and we have our director youths, but we don't have the director climate change, we don't have the CC climate change, we don't have any officer. I saw one here, but he left. So I don't know what are we trying to say, because even if we discuss these issues and the real people are not here, then I think we are trying to
wind up.
So, Mr. Speaker, the last point, I'm just concerned about Nixon Lemlem talked about World Climate Change Committee, and he talked that someone was a member of World Climate Change Committee. I think at what level or location level or sub-location levels, if you go randomly to any location here, there is no single person who knows about this thing. So I think we should sensitize the members of public, create awareness, educate them, and now we try to come up with all these policies, because these policies are just for honorable members in the House. Then we are not passing the information to the members of public. So I beg to support this motion and to move. Thank you.
Honorable members, we need to end at that. And just for the interest of time, we still have some more speakers to speak to us about some other empowerment programs before us. And I would like to thank you, members, for your time. I think Honorable Jamatia, I don't think you know the division of gender. Gender is not actually a lady. Honorable members, we need to leave at that. If you have your points. Now, I now put the question that the thanks of Baringo County Youth Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of His Excellency the Governor on strengthening the youth voice on climate change-related policy process and access to finance for climate actions. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? And as will as many as are of similar of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Thank you. And the House adjourns till further notice.
Okay, I think we are through with the debate and the proceedings of the day. And okay, there's an announcement somewhere, and I think we want to hand over the program to our youth leaders. But before that,
so there is that sign sheet. You have to sign again because the other one is missing. That's why I was insisting you guys to sign.